Hey guys, it's Brant and I am back. Video number 2 in the series of 5 videos for the album Slow, Deep, and Hard, Typo Negative's 1991 release. And I've done track 1 and I did a little bit of introduction to the album in series 1 or session 1 of this series. And so if you haven't seen that video and you're just coming upon this one, you want to go back and check out that. I do that, and I do the first track of that, which got here in my notes. That is basically Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity. That's track 1, and that's already been done in the first video. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the second track, which is called the Untermensch. Before I get started, I wanted to get me a beer. I kind of always wanted to do a little bit of beer reviews, and I'm not a beer aficionado. For those who know me, I like beers and stuff like that. And so I wanted to start talking about some of the beers that I drink, and even ones I've been trying. I just bought a 6-pack, and I might drink all those things today. So you never know, I might get a 6-beer Brant video by the end of the day. But this is one by Catawba Brewery. This is local to me. We live in Western North Carolina, and there's a ton of breweries in this area between Charlotte here, which I live in a small town called Morganton, and I live near a small town. I live in an even smaller town called Drexel, which has 2 stoplights. Or no, 1 stoplight, 1 or 2, depends on how you lay it out. This is a 1 stoplight town, middle of town. We have a little post office. It's a little, nice and everything. But I live about an hour east of Asheville, where all the breweries are. Well, this is a brewery that's downtown in Morganton, called Catawba Valley Brewery. And this is their ale, their white ale that they put out this time. They used to just put out this time of year, but I think they put it out all the time now. But it says that although it's named as a Halloween seasonal, Zombie's refreshing taste makes it a year-round staple. It's brewed with Belgian Witbier tradition of using unmalted wheat to create a light body and a white sheen. Additions of coriander and orange peel give it a fruity and spicy character, while the hops are subtle and lightly detected. Don't be scared to blow the head off a zombie and drink it up. So we're going to open this up here, and then we're going to get started with Der Untermensch, which is, like I said, it's the second track, and I'm going to go ahead and be talking about that while I'm pouring my beer. So those of you who don't give a fuck about beer, you're not just like, oh well. So the Untermensch is the second song off the Slow, Deep, and Hard album, and it runs 8 minutes and 55 seconds in length. Ooh, that's pretty. For those of you who like lighter beers. I like lighter and reds and darks. So we'll see how this does. But it runs 8 minutes and 55 seconds long. It has elements of Typo Negative's trademark doom and gloom, heavily mixed with Carnivore's thrash sound. And this song, translated to English, the title means the underhuman. And it's a term that the Nazis coined and used, believe it or not. And it's one that they called anybody that was non-Aryan. They called them the underhumans, the Untermensches, the underhumans. Peter came under a lot of fire over this song because of this type of subject matter. Some of the lyrics, hey, you on public assistance, why don't you get a job, sell some dope, and buy some pride, the only thing you couldn't rob. Social parasite, which is the first part. This song's broken up into 2 parts, social parasite and waste of life. And waste of life just basically says, waste of life, you're a waste of life. He says singing here, getting fucked on Classic Avenue, smoking crack and drinking booze, spiking your arm, no money or food, but there's plenty of gas in your BMW. So he was basically making an attack on people who live on social assistance. I mean, he says at the very beginning, you on public assistance, why don't you get a job? And he came under a lot of fire into songs like this. There's a lot of those other songs, like one of the songs I'm going to be covering in my next track on the album, where he says things like, I'll kill you tonight, and I got a pickaxe in the trunk of my car, things like that. But like I said, I think this song, he was basically venting his anger towards people in society who he considered a waste of life. And even after the success of Typo Negative, Peter never quit his day job. He worked for New York City. I think he worked for New York City Parks and Rec, I believe, or I know he worked for New York City Public Works, I believe. But he even said in interviews that he didn't think Typo Negative would last. And even though they sold millions of albums, he never quit his day job. And he said in interviews, I saw an interview, they said, "Why do you still work?" And he said, "Well, I need something to fall back on." And he never quit his job, even though the band sold millions of albums. And even all the band, they maintained really humble day-to-day lives and things like that. So, and they lived quite humbly. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to take a drink of White Zombie here. I've never tried the White Zombie before. I've had other Carolinas, Catawba breweries. Farmer Ted is my favorite one that they have. But we'll try this here. That's really good. That's really good. I like that. That'll be empty by the time we finish this. That's really good. It's nice, clean. You do taste the citrus in it, and it's very nice and clean, and it's a really good beer. It's not overbearing. Like I said, it's not something I usually go for darker stuff, but when I'm in the mood for light, that'd be good maybe with something like pizza or wings or something like that, something that's got a little spice to it. Be good for that. So anyway, Typo Negative, here we go. We're going to do the Untermensch. Here we go. And it starts off with one of these musical kind of things that they do. Josh is just amazing with the sound effects and things like that. He wasn't just a keyboardist. I mean, to me, I think you hear keyboardist in a band, you think of like keyboardist for Journey or keyboardist for Bon Jovi. And not slighting those bands at all, but they're not Josh Silver. And that's the bass guitar you hear right there. So then the music comes in nice and slow, and that's that Typo Negative sound that I was telling you that is very, very much Typo Negative. The later Typo Negative. I mean, I know this is Typo Negative, but a lot of people argue that this was still the Carnivore phase, and I agree. It was, that's what Peter knew, and that's what he was coming off of. So then they go into these little with the heavy distortion and everything, and the feedback and the slowness, the weird timing. I mentioned one time in a forum that I was in, and I talked about how I believe that feedback was the fifth member of Typo Negative because they used feedback almost as it was a musical instrument. And here we go with the start. Then we come with the thrash, the Carnivore. And this is Peter is he's still got that very much that carnivore-ish singing style that he did in Carnivore. Although in some of the later albums of Carnivore, you couldn't even hardly understand what he was saying. At least this way, he's screaming and he's very much you can understand what he's saying without a lyric sheet. So they go back into that slow part there. They did that's called a quick stop. And Typo Negative, they're known for a lot of things. They're known for going from busting balls to just stopping. And, and they'll later become known for what they call the digital cuts, where a song just ends, where they just digitally cut it. They didn't fade out, they end the song. They didn't end the song, they just cut it. So this is where he goes in and does the whole Waste of Life part of it. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of this song. I mean, I like it and everything, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'll also mention that they actually did not, whenever Peter reworked some of these songs and mixed them and matched them, they used some of the musical elements from this song. And we'll talk about that when we get to that album. Like some of this here. They used a lot of that. They reused that on the next album, on Origin of the Feces. But they did not do this album on they did not do this song on Origin of the Feces. It got left off. And now they're getting ready to change again. Right here. And this is kind of a different phrase. And this is more of that, he's saying in here, he's saying, there's a dope whore waiting at home, dealing your shit on the chemophone. Poor Tawana gets born with a birth defect, but it only increases your welfare check. Like I said, these are some pretty stinging lyrics. And this was in 1991. I couldn't see him even being able to make this album in today's society. Today's society is so hypersensitive, and even back then he was called a racist and a fascist. I mean, he even addresses this on the Bloody Kisses album, where I think it's We Don't Care What You Think, or God, I can't remember if that's the title of it. And when I get doing these videos, I get all space brained and everything. But and basically, he actually says, the left says I'm a fascist, the right calling me communist. But I love the lyric. He says, hate, hatred for all, one and all, no matter what you believe in. I don't believe in you. And I hate to say it, because I'm a nice guy and I try to be nice and I work with the public and stuff like that. So I have to keep a lot of my feelings and my opinions in, when it comes to that kind of stuff. But, sometimes, but a lot of people that know me, they know that I'm not very much of a people person. And people get on my nerves. And society gets on my nerves. Whether, and I'm not saying I believe one way or the other, because I think everybody is crooked and everybody can't be trusted, in a way. Everybody's out looking for themselves and stuff. So you really can't, what can you trust? The only person I think you can really trust is yourself. That's just in my head. That's just what I think. So they go back into this. I talked over that whole segment there. I'm sorry. But if you want to listen to the song, find the song. You can find it on YouTube, just like this right here, like I've got it pulled up. Then they're basically just going to go back into the waste of life here. And this is how they basically finish the song out. And while they're finishing this song out, I'm going to finish this beer. This is really good. Like I was saying, it's not my favorite song on the album. It's probably, I will admit that I do skip over this. I said I wasn't going to rate these songs, but if I was to give it my Kiss rating, this would probably be maybe below a 5. It'd probably be like a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best and 1 being the worst. If you've never watched any of my Kiss videos. That's how I rank songs and rank albums and stuff, but I'm not going to really do Typo Negative consistently that way. But just to stack this up against other Typo Negative songs, I think this is a little subpar of what they do. But there are a lot of elements about it. Mostly what I like about this song is mostly the music. This has some kick-ass music in it, but I'm just not really big on a lot of the, and it's not, and it has nothing to do with the subject matter. I believe that we have a First Amendment right, and even as using your art to say what you want to say, I believe that you have the right to do that, you know. And if you have the right to voice your opinion, I have the right to voice mine. And if I want to do it either on a public stage or in a song or in a painting or in a YouTube video, I have the right to do that. And so, yeah, that's basically, there's that song. That is Die Untermensch. Der Untermensch, my German. I don't speak German. I barely speak English. But that is track number 2. And like I said, like I was saying, it isn't that I don't agree with the words, because I do agree with that. I think the system does get used. I think the system, but the government has made the system so it can be used. So, you know, that's just my opinion with one beer. You don't want my opinion after 6 beers. But anyway, that's it. That's the Untermensch. That's track 2. And let me finish my beer here. Really good beer. Goes down really nice and smooth. Anyway, this is In My Head channel. And if you enjoy this video, be sure to check out some of my other videos. Be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section. Give it a thumbs up. Like it. Subscribe. If you don't subscribe to me, subscribe. Hit the notification button. I'm going to be going all the way through typo negatives. If you're a typo negative fan and this is a new video to you, welcome. I'm going to be going through all the typo negatives catalog all the way up through Dead Again. I'm going to work my way up through it. If you're a Kiss fan, I've worked my way up to Lick It Up on Kiss, and I'm going to be taking a break. I'm taking a break during the month of October to do typo negative stuff. So that's it. So if you like what you see here, you can subscribe by clicking right here. And here's another suggested video for you here, and you can watch those. And that's all I've got for today. I'm Brant, In My Head channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.